This man is a vice president of a bank. This man's a plumber. He works in a factory. She's a secretary, a doctor, an airline pilot. He goes to school. She's a housewife, a retired couple, a businessman. People, all kinds of people from all walks of life, at every level of income, from all age levels, but with one thing in common. They all love cars. Not just any car either, but cars that are fun to drive. Cars that are built to have fun in. Cars that, above all, offer real performance. Not necessarily high top speed, but cars that accelerate with a snap. Cars that offer a sum total of all-around excellent performance. In short, sports cars. This love of cars with superior performance has brought together all kinds of people in thousands of special clubs all over the country, where they can share their mutual interest and enthusiasm for the sport of sports cars. Today, in America, this sport of sports cars is growing fast as a wholesome sports outlet in which just about anyone and everyone can participate. The young, the not so young, single, and married, entire families. These sports car owners take part in a wide variety of organized activities designed especially for them and for their special cars. Road racing is one of these activities. Today, road racing, which is an important but actually a very small part of the total sport of sports cars, is seldom conducted on open roads. Rather, many permanent closed circuits have been established across the country, each with its own special twists and turns, straightaways, and variety of curves. Such as this Road America course in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. At such courses, road racing enthusiasts, both participants and spectators, enjoy speed events consisting of an entire weekend of skilled driving competitions between various types and classes of sports cars. Here, for example, is one type of sports car, a racing sports car, a car designed solely for road racing. This Ford Mark II prototype is allowed to race only against cars in its own class, such as the high-powered Italian Ferrari and the Chevrolet-powered Chaparrall prototypes. The American-made Corvette, on the other hand, is called a production sports car, a car that is designed primarily for street use. The Corvette races against such other production sports cars as the German Porsche and the Ford-powered American Cobra. 22 such classes have been devised for road racing enthusiasts so that every man, no matter what the size of his pocketbook, has a chance of winning. When a man brings his car up to the starting grid, he knows that he is competing against cars of similar performance capabilities. Aside from his ability to tune up his car, the real difference in the race lies in himself, in his driving knowledge and skills. If he goes into a curve too fast, he'll spin up. He'll lose valuable time while he waits to re-enter the course without endangering others. But when he knows to the nth degree what he and his car can do, when he takes advantage of others' mistakes or lack of skill, he has a good chance of leading the pack home. Road racing is exciting, demanding, satisfying. A true test of a man's ability to handle a car skillfully and safely under widely varying conditions. One such car is the Ford Mark II, winner of the 1966 24-hour race at Le Mans, driven by Bruce McLaren and Chris Amon.
right down low.
Here's Bruce to tell you a little about that car.
All right, that ought to get it.
Fine. Hello, I'm Bruce McLaren. I'd like to tell you something about this car. It's one of the Ford GTs that ran at Le Mans. Just exactly the same as the one that I drove that finished first. At Le Mans, there's a technical inspection. Everything is checked. Firstly, compliance with the regulations, but then all the safety features. Brakes, chassis, wheels, tires, transmission, windscreens, fillers, the whole lot. Each driver has to have fireproof overalls. That's only sensible. And of course a proper crash helmet. And we wear seat belts and a shoulder harness. Thank you, Max. Come with me and I'll take you for a run around the track.
Twisting, turning miles at an average speed of over 145 miles an hour is not a typical performance for road racing. These are extremely expensive, all-out sports racers developed by Ford Motor Company in an attempt to win the World Manufacturing Championship for America against the best of Europe. A championship decided in 9 international races, such as the Daytona Continental in Florida, and the world-renowned 24-hour race at Le Mans in France. Many American individuals and companies have challenged European manufacturers over the years, but none has ever won in the topmost class of the all-out sports racers. But in 1966, American Fords won an overwhelming lead against the great red Ferraris of Italy, including a 1-2-3 sweep at Le Mans, the toughest and most challenging of the international races, much to the satisfaction of road racing enthusiasts in the United States. Some of these young men may someday drive an international competition, where they are sharpening their skills in every race they run. Road racing is exciting, whether you're a participant or a spectator. But despite the publicity it receives, the fact remains that racing is a very small part of the total sports car sport that attracts so many people from all walks of life. The vast majority of sports car owners love to go to the races, but they have no interest in competing themselves. They participate in the many other activities open to them and to their families through the thousands of different sports car clubs across the country. A rally, for example, is a lot of fun and a real test of driving control and of alertness to the conditions ahead of and around your car. You can't enter a rally without a navigator. Who else but the wife? What better way to enjoy the company of those sharp-eyed kids of yours and let them have a ball as they learn the value of steady driving and alert watchfulness? Of course, a single man needs a navigator and pit help too. And many a girlfriend has become a wife by sharing an interest in sports cars. Basically, a rally is very simple. Everyone meets at the rally takeoff point. Here, the rally master hands out a set of instructions to each driver-navigator team. Instructions that will keep them well occupied for the 3 or 4 hours an average rally takes to complete. These instructions will guide the participants from the takeoff point to their destination or rally point, which is unknown to them by name or location, and which can only be found by accurately following every instruction so that they remain on the pre-planned route while traveling at a predetermined and always legal speed. typical rally instructions might start out, average speed is to be 26 miles an hour. Turn left out of parking lot. Turn right at third stoplight. Go 1.3 miles to Fork and Road. Go north at Fork. At second gravel road, turn right. Turn right after 2.2 miles and change average speed to 33 miles an hour. Sound easy? Well, hidden along the way are checkpoints, and no rallyist knows where they are. If the driver and navigator have followed the route accurately, at the exact average speed, they will arrive at the first checkpoint in, say, 36 minutes and 29 seconds. No more and no less. If they're right on time, they receive no penalty points. But if they come across the unknown checkpoint too soon or too late, they do receive penalty points. Usually 1 point per second for being late and 2 points per second for arriving too soon. So the challenge is to stay on course and on time all the time, so that you pass each checkpoint with as few penalty points as possible. For the driver-navigator team with the lowest number of penalty points wins the rally. From the rally takeoff point, each car starts separately, usually at 1-minute intervals. Its starting time is recorded to the second. And they're on their way, following the first instructions to turn left out of the parking lot and to maintain an average speed of 26 miles an hour. As soon as one instruction has been completed, the navigator calls out the next and busies him or herself in keeping track of average speed with the aid of stopwatches, an average speed book, perhaps even a slide rule. The driver tries to maintain the average speed of 26 miles an hour and keeps his eyes peeled for the next landmark in the instructions. Of course, it doesn't hurt to have another pair or two of sharp eyes along. If there are any delays en route, railroad crossings, stop signs, the navigator is going to have to keep track of exactly how many seconds were lost and translate them as quickly as possible into an increased rate of speed to pick up the lost time and put them back where they would have been at a steady 26 miles an hour average. It's a real challenge, but very important to maintain the average speed called for. And not to make a wrong turn so that you have to backtrack, because you never know. Checkpoint. Suddenly, where it can't be seen until you're on it, there's a checkpoint, where the time of arrival is recorded to the second and duly noted on the team's record card. Not many participants get by a checkpoint without a good number of penalty points. But the lower the number, the better. And off they go again to a fresh start, combining steady driving with a keen outlook all around, sharpening their senses and alertness, following instructions to the letter so that they stay on course, on time, all the time. Until at last they come to the unknown destination. The final time is recorded, and now's the opportunity to discuss that tricky fork in the road, the clever hiding of checkpoint number 3, the laughter at and with the couple who are angry with themselves for missing the turn by the turkey farm. And what do you know? Looks like the end of an exciting day for everyone, with plenty of fun for sports car owners and their families in a rally. Families participate in gymkhanas too, which offer the excitement of racing against the clock on an individual basis. With a single car among them, husband, wife, and junior can participate in the challenge and excitement. A gymkhana is conducted on a closed course, requiring the handling of a car under many conditions, frequently around obstacles. Just as in road racing, entries are divided into classes, pitting cars of similar performance against each other, so that everyone has a chance to win on the basis of his driving skill alone. Each car is started separately, and the driver goes all out to see if he can complete the course faster than anyone in his class. The Gymkhana, which with variations is sometimes called a slalom or trial or autocross, offers excitement and thrills to anyone who wants to see what he and his car can really do without facing the substantial cost and time required to participate in actual road racing. There are other activities conducted by sports car clubs, such as auto shows and driving schools. But perhaps one of the most appealing aspects of club membership lies in the meetings and social events enjoyed by everyone. Usually, a sports car club will get together at least once a month in a combination business and social affair. Even for those who don't participate in rallies and other car events, these meetings provide a warm social outlet where they can make lasting friendships with others who share their feelings about sports cars, and usually about other interests as well. Frequently, the barbecues, dances, banquets, skiing trips, and other social events may have nothing whatever to do with cars, but they provide a good excuse to get together with companions and friends and families who enjoy a common bond. Families? If you've come to suspect that the sport of sports cars is really a family sport, you're entirely correct. The whole family packs up to spend a day watching the races, usually with a nice picnic lunch on hand. If Dad is in the race, Mother and even the older kids will be found helping out in the pits. The sport of sports cars is indeed a wholesome family sport, and a sport that is suddenly growing rapidly in America. Since the revival of interest after World War II, the number of sports car owners who were enjoying motoring for the fun of it has steadily increased, mainly through the purchase of foreign sports cars. By early 1964, there were approximately 500,000 sports cars in the country, of which only a few thousand were American-made. But in May of '64, a newcomer appeared on the scene, the American-produced Mustang, the first inexpensive, readily available sports-type car for which parts and service could be obtained in any area quickly and inexpensively. With this newcomer, the sports car field opened up. In just 2 years after its introduction, over 1 million of these Mustangs were added to the sports car population of the country. People who had apparently been looking at sports cars with desire found the American newcomer offered them the practical utility they needed, with the flair and appeal and characteristics of the sports car they wanted. The door was opened. New Mustang owners quickly joined established sports car clubs to enjoy the fun of their activities. Almost overnight, other owners formed hundreds of exclusively Mustang clubs for themselves and began to hold meetings and to stage Mustang rallies and gymkhanas, and to enjoy the good fellowship of sports car owners at their own social events. Still others entered modified Mustangs in local and national road races and won championships. This obvious great desire of Americans to own a practical sports car quickly sent Detroit to its drafting boards. And now, based on the concept of low-cost, easy maintenance, quick service, and family utility. These cars are coming off the production lines, opening the door for even more millions of Americans to enjoy the sport of sports cars. Looks like sports car fun is here to stay.